Black Plague started with a very bad disease. It spreaded because of rats. Yes, these little things, but first it started with these little mites that got onto a ship and then latched onto the rats. Then rats were everywhere and the disease spreaded like a pandemic. Then there were these doctors dressed like birds head to toe and wore so many other things to protect themselves because they did not know what it caused it or how to cure it. This is what could happen to your body if you had the disease. Your body will even bubble up and get pus inside, which is very nasty. This soon led to 30 to 50% of the population getting wiped out. All of this caused the loss of faith in the Catholic Church because if they did so many good things, then why was God punishing them? So people began to question the Bible.
The Reformation. Next, we have the Reformation. This all started with indulgence getting sold to buy off sin from the Catholic Church, which was just a way for people to earn the beliefs and money for the church. Next, we have Martin Luther. Yes, this guy created the 95 Theses that stated the Bible is the ultimate Christian religious authority and that humans could only get into heaven through faith in God, not by doing good deeds. Then he put up this big paper on the Catholic Church door in order for all people to see. The Protestant Reformation is said to have shaped major features of Western culture, including freedom of religion, freedom of conscience, and the dignity of individual and political democracy.
The invention of the printing press. Next, we have the movable type, or the printing press, which was created by Johannes Gutenberg. This machine caused a way for new ideas to get spread much faster than anything ever could. Even like new ideas, new discoveries, and so much more. The printing press soon led to books getting made a lot faster. This caused people having more demands for books and caused people wanting to learn how to read. So it's made an increase in literacy.
Columbian Exchange. Next, we have the Columbian Exchange or Columbian trade. This was a type of an exchange between the New World and Europe. It started in 1492. This was a time when food, disease, animals, and even medicine would get traded and passed across the ocean. During the exchange, it had caused population growth in Europe by bringing new crops from the Americas and started Europe's economic shift towards capitalism. Meanwhile, the effects of this would be the slave trade and labor increasing. But the exchange had helped spread new ideas, food, animals, medicines that people did not know about yet or did not have access to. That is the Columbian Exchange.
The 30-Year War, 1618 to 1648. The 30-Year War was a war that had lasted 30 years. This war consisted of 4 phases. First, the Bohemian phase, which has started because 2 Protestant noblemen had tossed 2 royal officials out the window. This phase surely ended with the Catholics winning against the Protestants in 1620. The next phase was the Danish phase, which lasted between 1625 to 1629, and the Catholics had won a lot more. This is also when Christian the 15th of Denmark entered the war, helping the Protestants who were in danger soon after the Catholic Imperial Army, led by Albert of Wallenstein, had earned victories after invading Jutland, which caused Christian the 15th, Gustav Adolphus, and Charles in England between France and Spain to have some unsuccessful alliances. Now it is the Swedish phase that lasted between the 1630 to 1635. When Swedish King Gustavus Adolphus was a devoted Lutheran, and his army entered the war to help the Protestants. He later won 2 very important battles, but sadly died in battle. The last phase of the war was the French phase. This phase marked a shift in the war as it began to lose its religious significance. This turned into more of a war against Catholic France and Catholic Spain. This caused a man named Cardinal Richelieu to stop the Habsburgs from gaining power at any cost. So he then joined the Protestants. He then sent military and financial assistance to help. This led to Habsburg's power being reduced. The last phase happened to be the longest phase of the war, which ended with the German lands and economy very devastated.
Scientific revolution. This was a time during many ideas and findings. First, it was Nicholas Copernicus. He was a guy and an astronomer who had made a discovery that the sun was the center of the universe, and it was not in fact the earth like the church explained. Next, then Galileo. He was a man who created the telescope, and you could study the atmosphere by seeing up close how planets look and how they're different. And he proved Copernicus's theory. Then there was a guy who experimented on bodies and how they work. His name was Andreas. He was the founder of modern anatomy, and he was able to go against the Bible by proving the experiment and reason. All their ideas and discovery proved that the Bible had false information.
The Enlightenment was marked by an emphasis on the scientific method and reductionism, along with the increased questioning of religious orthodoxy. The core ideas advocated by modern democracies, which included civil society, human and civil rights, and separation of powers. The Enlightenment was an intellectual and cultural movement during the 18th century that had emphasized reason over superstition and science over blind faith. This was also known as the Age of Reason.
The National Assembly / Tennis Court Oath. This started with the National Assembly getting formed by the third estate to help create balance within the states and the king's power. This would hold meetings like this, but one day all the estates went to meet up like normal, but the three estates and others had gotten locked out, so they decided to walk over to a nearby building. It just so happened to be an indoor tennis court. So in this building during this time, they all made an oath. We swear to never separate, to meet wherever circumstances require until the kingdom's constitution is established and grounded on the solid foundations. This is what consists of the tennis court oath.
Storming of Bastille, July 14, 1789. Storming of Bastille started because people were hungry. The reason for this was because they had found out that there was less food due to a very poor harvest. But the people also got madder when they feared that King Louis XVI was about to arrest France's newly constituted National Assembly. This soon led to a crowd of Parisians to successfully riot the Bastille, which was an old fortress that had been used years before as a state prison. This would be the first violent act that set off as the revolt. This was caused by the dismissal of Nectar. The storming of Bastille ended when Launay raised a white flag of surrender over the fortress. Launay and his men were taken into custody, and the Bastille's gunpowder and cannons had been seized.
The Reign of Terror was a period of time when everyone was scared because they were going to get killed by a guillotine. It was a period of great violence and political repression, and it occurred under the leadership of the Committee of Public Safety. This was dominated by Maximilien Robespierre. One of the people that died to the guillotine was Queen Marie Antoinette because she committed treason. The guillotine was used a lot during this period and even killed 17,000 people. The end of the Reign of Terror was when Robespierre got arrested and executed with the rest of his allies.